Hello, beautiful people. This is Ms.B. And the name is for you, but the title is for me. You can just call me Ms.B. We are here with Warren. And Warren, what is the correct way to say your last name? Warren M. White, correct?
That's right.
Yes.
White like the color.
Warren is
Peter.
a 20. Warren is a 2024 HIV spokesmodel, and we're just going to have a conversation. And so, thank you for joining us today. Thank you. So we'll start with the simple question is tell us about yourself. Tell me about yourself, Warren.
Say that one more time. You was going in and out.
Tell me about yourself.
Well, I am 45, about to turn 46, February 22nd. So I was born on February 22nd, 1978, in DePaul Hospital in Norfolk, Virginia. I am a lot of people say Virginia is the South or the Southern or country. We have our we have our moments, but regardless of all that, I grew up in what they call the seven cities,
Mhm.
which is really more kind of reminding me like a small New York City. New York City had five boroughs, where in the Hampton Roads area we have what's called the seven cities. Um, but we've always been the 757. You know what I mean? And even though now it has grown over to more area code because it's getting so big, everybody from New York City is coming out of Virginia.
Yes.
It's cool. It's cool. I understand. I get it. But yes, I am from Norfolk, Virginia, born and raised. I am the oldest of 17 siblings. I have two sets of parents. So I come from a really unique family. Even though I have 17 siblings and I have two sets of parents, I am technically the only child between my mother and father. So I grew up an only child, and so my mom, and father, they never married. So my mom, found my stepdad, Mr. Benson, and they started, having kids and bringing in kids. And, I grew up in a household with my mom and stepdad of up to 11. So it's 11 of us that grew up in one household. And then my father had other kids. So other kids. So I have two brothers and a sister through my father, and then now my father's current wife, she has three children. So that's where the whole 17 come in at. So 16 siblings and me.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I grew up in a really, really huge family. Like on
Yeah.
my father's side, I have like 30 cousins, literally.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
like it's like it's a lot of people, you know what I mean? But I grew up, we're in a really religious type family as well. I went to church all my life, was born, they say you was back Christian. I was one of those babies that was Christian in church,
Hmm.
from a baby, and sung in the children's choir and grew up that in that direction under the tutelage of the Church of God in Christ. And I can't say that I had one of those bad childhoods, and I was treated badly. Of course we all had our times and moments, but at the end of the day, all I remember from my childhood was just me being happy.
Yeah.
uh, I love music.
Yeah.
So I was that little kid that every time they would go to play the shouting music, the little kid that was always running. I was that child. Yeah, running around the church. That was me, honey. Yes, because I love music. I love music. Music is one of my resources of relaxation and also meditation. So, um, yeah, I grew up in the church, and I grew up under a certain teaching.
Hmm.
um, Once I graduated from high school, I attempted to go to college, and that didn't work over too well, hun. But it was something I just like. Let me go to college, and so I ended up not doing too well, and I went into the military
Hmm.
in 1997, and I joined the U.S. Army,
Hmm.
served 8 years active duty, and that was very, very fulfilling for me because I was able to do a lot of traveling. and see different areas of the United States for one. 'Cause at the time, I really hadn't been outside of Virginia. So it took me from my comfort zone. The Army literally took me out of my whole comfort zone of being away from my family, because that's all I knew for the first 19 years of my life.
Yeah.
My family, my church family was my family. You know what I mean? Like, always around them. I was, once again, grew up in church. I grew up in one of them churches. We was going to church 7 days a week, huh?
Wow.
Yes, ma'am, 7 days a week, and twice on Sundays, day service and night service, and you know what I mean, and going to school. So I was just school and church for the first 19 years of my life. So the military took me out of my comfort zone, and that's where I really started to begin to build some strength, some internal strength. I went through a lot, especially dealing with, at the time, nobody knew I was even gay. I didn't tell nobody. So going to the military and being around 50 something men, and you can't look, you can't say nothing, you can't talk about it because you be put out. So it's like you just hold it all in and you try to be a man yourself of what the world at the time said a man's supposed to look like. And that was my struggle. Is that I couldn't be myself growing up. I had to be what the church said a man's supposed to look like, what a man is supposed to dress like, what a man is supposed to sound like, how we supposed to walk. I grew up under that, don't walk like that. And if you did, you got a weapon, you got that paddle, you know what I mean? Like, I grew up under where they paddled you in school and in church, not just at home.
Yeah.
So and I can't say it was once again a bad thing. You know what I mean? It wasn't a bad thing that I was terrorized and I was traumatized by the paddle. No, honey, that paddle saved me. Because once I got in the military, I just kind of reverted back and still had to, because I didn't want to get put out the military.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a new career for me, like a new beginning. Just went through 1 year of college and didn't do well. So it's like, okay, let me do the military, something I knew, because in high school, I was an RTC. I was a commander my 4th year. I was over all the schools in Norfolk, you know what I'm saying? And so that's what I knew. That's what I was comfortable with in high school. I just didn't know the Army would take me to a different level of it. So yeah, I did the Army, very, wonderful with my 8 years. And then I got out in 05. And when I got out in 05, that's when I came out the closet. And
I'm going to stop you right there. Only because there are 2 types of closets that I'm thinking of. Before you reveal which one, before we get into that, tell me how did you come to be a spokesmodel for HIV Stop With Me?
Say that one more time. You was fading out a little bit.
How did you become to be a spokesmodel for HIV Stop?
I know Mother Lamia. I know her very well. She is not only my gay mother or house mother, but she's a really, really close dear friend of mine. I've known her for since 2000 and maybe 7. A really long time. We became really close. I met her in Virginia, and I met her through the LGBT community. And so in 2021, I know she had been doing this spokesmodel representation for a couple of years now. And so in 2021, she pretty much was like, Warren, you should do this. You can do this. You know what I mean? Like, I guess she saw something in me, and that she felt like it would be a good platform for me to maybe help somebody else, or just be a good representation for the company and the campaign.
And
Um,
that you are.
and let me tell you, in 2021, I didn't feel like I was mentally here. I wasn't mentally present
Okay.
because I had just moved to New York in 2020. And when I moved to New York, I moved from Virginia dealing with issues with employment. So when I moved here, I said, okay, I want to do this and I want to do it right. I want to do it for myself. I want to, you know what I'm saying? I went through the shelter system, and at the time I was dealing with some mental things, and you know what I'm saying, some physical barriers in my way. And so in 2021, when she brought it up, I was like, you know what? For you, you know how you got that really good Judy. And when they say, girl, you should try out or you should apply. And you're like, you know what? I really don't want to do it. But for you, I'm gonna do it. I'm just keeping it real. I was like, you know what? I don't want to do that. Like, I don't even think the picture I sent Sheldon at the time was even a really cute picture, hun. Like, I just picked, okay, that picture, boom. Like, I didn't put, I mean, we 100%, I'm just keeping it like 100. Like, I really, you know, I did it because she was a good friend of mine and I trusted her word.
Yes.
I trusted her opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, okay, I'll do it for you. Because she kept, you know, she was adamant about it. We need some good spokesmodels. You're in the city. We need some in the city. You know what I mean? Like, so I filled it out and I didn't, like, even in the introduction, I didn't put any, I just, oh, my name Warren White. Yeah, original from here. Yep. Okay, what else you need? And I was like, okay, give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you need? Boom. Yeah. And I went like that. And so as the year went by, I wasn't planning on him being like, oh, you got it. You know, you're a spokesmodel. That, you know, congratulations. Welcome to the family. I wasn't expecting it because my mind wasn't there.
Yeah.
My mind wasn't centered to be able to focus on a mission such as this. And so, you know, it went by, and 2022 went by, and then all of a sudden last year, she reached out to me, Lamia reached out to me and was like, hey, you know, I want to bring this up to you again, but would you like to be a spokesmodel again? Because Sheldon wants to know. And I'm like, who? Sheldon from the 8. Yeah. And I literally like paused and I was like, wait a minute. So he's asking me if I'm interested. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to process this. You know what I mean? Because to me, being a part of this campaign is a really big deal. You know, for our community. You know what I mean? And a really big deal for people that are dealing with, you know, the everyday tactics and everyday mental and physical issues that we go through living with HIV, whether it's starting out or in between, or like, it can come either way, anytime. Yes. You know, so it was ironic. Mm-hmm. And some people can say, and you know, back in the church, they say, "Oh, that was all God," mm-hmm. because I had just so happened to be in a wonderful place, a wonderful mental place. Yeah, I was happy. I knew who I was. I knew, you know what I'm saying? Like, I knew how to maneuver and strategize things in my life to be able to say, okay, you know what? I can do this to help somebody else, because I've always had that mind frame. How can I help somebody else if I don't have my thing together? You know, if I can't see straight, how can I help somebody else see straight? Okay. Like blind leading the blind. You know what I mean? Okay. So I wanted to be able to see clearly so I could be in a position to help somebody else see clearly. And so when he reached out, I was like, sure, let's do it. Yeah. What's up? Yeah. This time I, you know, boom, you know, I just was so like the excitement in me just came up, and I feel like sometimes people can say, "Oh, you're a little too excited at times," but I just tell them I can't apologize for that because that's just who I am.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I feel like I'm that little kid again in
Yes.
church,
Yes.
and that is the only time I felt free is when I heard music and I was able to dance.
Yes.
Even as a kid, I felt like if they just let me dance, oh, I can do what I want to do. I'm good, and they let me.
Yes.
They let me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it was like this time around, it came around, and I was like, oh, let's do it. Let's do it. And if he's asking me if I'm interested, then, obviously he saw something, and it was just a matter of that, you know, the universe came around and said, hey, Warren White.
Now's the
He,
time.
and he probably went, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But the opportunity came around. I wasn't going to miss it this time. And
Yes.
I feel like that I'm glad I hopped on the train when it came past this
I'm glad you did too. So my audio is kind of going in and out. Can you hear me okay?
time. I can hear you okay now. Mhm.
So I had to stop you earlier because as you were talking, I kept hearing and seeing myself because we have a lot of similarities. So I kind of stopped you so that I wouldn't get lost. You were doing really great. And we stopped off in 2005 and we left with you said coming out of the closet. So now I
Mhm.
have a similar background. We're interviewing you, but I don't want to make it about me, but I'm just going to give you my experience. Um, when I found out I was positive, it was basically I was in the height of it. I was stronger than I ever was, and I was older than that little Christian girl. I wasn't a virgin, but I wasn't, hopping around either. So I was like, okay, you go to these different events. When you get married, so I finally, had that husband. However, it was after he didn't. We just didn't know. Like I took a test right before we got engaged, and it kind of got my results after we were married because back then it took longer. So it ended up ending in divorce because of the shame or the stigma associated with HIV. And he was Nigerian, and I don't want to stereotype, but some different cultures they have a lot of pride. So I say that to say this. You mentioned two types of closet. I want you to tell me. Well, you said I said two types. So I want you to tell me those two types of closets that you came out of. And then I want you to tell me what do you think it has been harder for the church to accept? Which closet for you?
Hmm.
And take your time because we're comfortable with pauses because pauses are important. So however
Exactly.
you want to go, take your time.
Well, um, I would say, okay, so the two types of closets. For me, I guess one of them was just coming out to my family and let them know that I was gay. Um, I feel like for me, the other closet was accepting the fact that I can be gay and still worship God, the Lord Jesus. Like accepting it and boldly doing it.
Yes.
And not going to a church and putting on once again another facade. Not to say I want to go to church and I want to be flammed out and dollied out, but if I walk into church with my nails like this, with my suit on, and I'm looking nice,
Yeah.
I don't deserve to have any Google eyes or even be judged because I'm just being me. I'm just expressing who I am. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so the first closet was, yes, when okay, so me.
I assumed the second closet, and I was wrong.
What did you
I
assume the
thought the
second
second
closet was?
closet was coming out as living with HIV.
Well, then that would be a third closet.
Wow. Okay.
That
You
would
know
be
what?
the third closet. That would be the third and final closet, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Because that happened in 2009. So that happened 4 years. I got out of the military. So I was married twice to women.
I'm laughing. Me too.
So when
Men.
I say that was, and I tried to live that Christian life. They say it's better to marry than to burn. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so I don't go to hell. I went over there and tried to marry a woman and tried to make it work, and it didn't. And I did it, and not even did I do it one time, but I did it twice.
Yes.
So when that actually ended in 2005, that's when I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I can't do this no more.
Yeah.
I'm gay. This is who I am. I like men. And the first person I called was my mom.
Yes.
So that was the closet of me coming out to my family.
Yes.
I had a lot of negativity from not family members within my own household that I grew up in, but extended family, cousins, church family that I know for years. I had a lot of negativity come from them. But it wasn't until I want to say probably about 2006, 2007, when I really was like, okay, I love the Lord regardless. You know what I mean? And I hope he still loves me. So I was dealing with that. I love the Lord and I hope he still loves me.
Yeah.
In 2008, I tried to go back into the military and I really put like trained. And I was putting my faith in God at the time while I was in training.
Yeah.
So my faith kind of grew. It grew during that time frame, 2007, 2008. And remember, I was just coming out. So here I am, freshly out of the closet.
Yeah.
I'm coming back to Virginia from 8 years service, active duty, coming back home to Virginia. And I started getting involved with men and started going out and hanging out. But then once again, like I said, a couple years later, I was like, no, this ain't for me. I need to go back into the military. Started training. Decided to go back in and do all the physical exams in 2009. That's when a month or two later, they call me back and say, hey, you can't come back in because you're HIV positive.
Wow.
So, I had to, so now there is my second closet. Now I got to tell my family I'm HIV positive and I can't go back into the military. I'm not going back into the military. So that was the opening up for me having to tell them that. But in the midst of all of this, I never really lost faith in God. Even throughout that, I actually went to seminary and I became an ordained minister in 2010 at a church that I was attending those years of me getting out the military because I wasn't going back to my home church. I went to a church that was welcoming, that welcomed everybody and was
Yeah.
open to no matter who you was, no matter where you was from, no matter what color you looked like, what color you were, no matter what religion background you was. They welcomed
It sounds
everybody.
like Carlton Pearson, Gospel of Inclusion. Was it similar to that?
It wasn't similar to that, but it was that similar. It had a similar type vibe.
Okay.
Yes, but it was a different organization, different denomination church. So yeah, like my bishop, he married a man. So like I went to that typical, and I even got backlash for that, even when starting out. But once again, I got to the point to where I didn't care what people said anymore. You know what I mean? And so me becoming an ordained minister and doing my sermon and my child's sermon and everything, that was once again my third closet to say, you know what, God still loves me.
Yes.
And if you
Yes.
don't like it, then that's not my problem. You know what
Yes.
I mean? Like I can't be concerned that you feel like I'm going to hell because I say I love God
Yeah.
and yet I still like men too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's like once again, I just feel like you're judging me, and the only person that can really judge me is God. So if you're looking at me and judging me, you're telling me that you're God.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so those was the closets that I had to, you know, but the two closets, the first two coming out to my family as being gay and being and accepting that for myself. And then coming out and letting them know that I was HIV positive, and once again having to be comfortable with that and accept that I'm dealing with something that I'm about to deal with this for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, you know, I don't know if you've seen the video I did, but once again back then, even though it wasn't a death sentence, people made it seem like it was back in the 90s and you know the early 2000s.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have a lot of medicines like we have now back
Yeah.
then. You know, now they got the injections approved out, and you know, and so it's like things was different. The mentality was different.
Yeah.
The mentality of the HIV virus was different. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful for where we have come, but we still got a long ways to go.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
I know one thing that I've learned just in life and just and through experience. And I know this to be true more than I know anything else. There is nothing that can separate me from the love of
From
God.
the love of God, exactly.
Nothing. It's nothing that you could say, nothing that you could do. I just, God, Jesus loves me. He loved him from birth of it, and he loved him. And there's
And you know what's
nothing.
crazy? Because
God is not a man. He's not finicky, he's not petty.
exactly. And what was so crazy is I felt now when you said that, it took me back, and that's part of why that took the longest for me. That was that's the last closet for me, is being acceptance of I love God. I love men. I love God, but I love God first. You know,
Yeah,
and before I
yeah,
have a liking to men, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, and me still saying that I'm a child of God.
yes,
But
yes.
I feel like it took the longest because once again, growing up, it was drilled and drilled and drilled and drilled. It's an abomination. It's an abomination. It's an abomination. Man who lie with man is an abomination. Or like I've heard you're going to hell. And ain't no, it won't cover it up. No, you're going to hell. That's not God. Stop it. That's
Mm-hmm.
how we was taught to when we were younger
Yeah,
about things that wasn't of God.
yeah,
You know, because it was heaven or hell type thing for us. You know, and once again, it wasn't like, oh, they scared us. Oh no. I mean, sex was scary back then. Like, you
and I,
know what I mean? People was
and I'm
having
just gonna,
babies out the blue back in the 90s. You know what I mean? And, you know, they was teaching sex education in schools. You know what I mean? And so like we got better things to fight for, you know.
yeah.
It,
And
trying to fight.
I just want to give a little disclaimer here. This
Mm-hmm.
platform to educate people with HIV and people without it. People from different perspectives, different lifestyles. If you have an opinion that is different, keep your comments to yourself. Just simply cut it off. This message just simply is not for you, but it is for someone. So if you feel offended or have been offended, take yourself somewhere else. Moving on.
Amen to that. And I mean,
Amen.
and it's not that I don't respect her opinion, but at the end of the day, so all opinions are not necessarily need to be shared.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, some opinions that we have, really, we got that opinion and that thought in our mind for us to do a self-examination. Okay, why am I thinking
yeah,
this way?
Yeah, exactly.
But you so stubborn and you just think, oh, I got this opinion, so it's for whoever wants to listen. No, some opinions are for you, boo boo.
Yeah, exactly.
They're for you. And
Exactly.
they're for you to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I thought that way, but I shouldn't have thought that way. So now what can I do to change my ways of thinking
Yeah.
so I can be better for the
Yes,
people that are surrounded around? Because,
exactly.
you know, I want to give out good vibes and positive energy. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like God did not bless me with this smile for nothing. And it took me years to get back to this smile.
I'm loving
It
it.
took
I'm
me
loving it.
years. And you know, it's like
I'm loving it.
God made
Yeah.
me the way I am, and so I can't apologize for that. But you know,
Right.
we have to have respect for each other. Right?
Yes, yes. And God is love. And we are
Yes,
going.
He is.
Yes, and when you guys see, I can't wait to see the pictures from the campaign and the video.
What?
Oh my, we got a week, right? We got a week till we find out.
Almost there.
Yes, I am so
Almost
excited.
there. I
So
can't wait.
excited.
Yes.
So tell us you music and dancing. So how has so tell us about your music career.
Say it one more time. You was going in and out.
Tell us about your music career. What you have going on regarding your music. How is music being used in your life today?
Well, it started out ironically, like I said, through church and doing singing in the choir. But I found dance really more when I've always been a dancer. Like
Mhm.
I never went to like dance school or anything. Like I even broke my toe one time trying to do the MC Hammer, honey. My big old toe trying to do that typewriter dance and
Yeah.
jumped up and came down the wrong time. Didn't you know? And that big old toe, you know. So I'm kind of like a self-taught dancer. Never really been
Yeah.
to a dance school,
Yeah.
but it was when I went to the military in 2097,
Yeah.
um, and I started doing. I had a mind ministry.
Oh, okay.
I had a mind ministry, and I started doing mine there, and it just God just took it to like so many levels. Like it went from me, you know, having my own ministry to me, you know, starting another ministry in Texas.
Yeah.
And then I left Texas. Remember, I'm in the military, so I left Texas and I moved to Georgia, and then I ended up teaching another group there and started, you know, helped start a ministry at a church in Georgia. Then
Yeah.
I went to Korea, and
Wow.
how the Korean chaplain knew that I did mime dance, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But he came to me, he was like, I want you to do your mime one day. And I said, I looked at him, I was like, yo, how do you know? And I'm like, you want me to do this in front of a whole bunch of Koreans? Like, cool. So cool, let's do it. I get to dance at a church. I don't
Yeah.
really know if they're gonna understand, but I did it, you know, and it was a blessing. And I began to actually get calls and go around different churches in Korea, South Korea area, and do different mime performances there. I left there, went to Washington, did mine there. So I've been did mine for a lot of years, but once I came out the closet, there were, I just really started getting to more of MCing and hosting events.
Yeah.
That came about one day. I went to a wedding with my brother, and at the reception, the wedding coordinator, she lost her voice.
Wow.
So my brother was a DJ. So she went to him and asked him if he could like announce the different things that were going on through the reception.
Hmm.
And my brother was like, no, I don't talk on the mic. He was like, but my brother know how to do that. And
Wow.
I just went with him to help him set up, you know. I was
Yeah.
a groupie that day. I was
Yeah.
feeling, I was fab, huh? I was
Yes.
supposed to be a groupie and end up being the MC for the wedding reception. And it went from there. And that
Wow.
started in, ooh, I want to say 2008. That was in 2008, I want to say. And it just went up from there. And, I love being on the mic. I love hyping people up.
Yes.
Um, I love making sure people are having fun. You know what I mean? And so from there, did that for years, traveled around. I've emceed in different states. I've emceed different events, different balls within the LGBT community. And
Okay.
then around about 2018 is when I picked up DJing.
Oh, okay.
That's when I started DJing in 2018. And it was just like I said, music has always been, you know, part of my life. Like MTV, sitting at home watching MTV, like, back in the day, that's what we did. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It was like BET and, all the, BET jams and, everything would come on and, you just watch different videos and you just watch them. And so that's always been inside of me. And so when I got to DJing, it just helped me to even take what I knew about music and kind of create my own little feel to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I already like to see people dance and like to see people get hyped. So, now I was a DJ and an MC. And I
Wow.
had, and
Yeah.
my first gig as a DJ, I had the headset on and I was like, yo, this is so dope. I can hype them up and
Yeah.
mix the music at the same
Same
time.
time.
Let's go.
That was happening for you.
So that's pretty much where that's where I am when it comes to the music right now. Most people when they hear me say MC, they think I'm like a rapper or singer. I can sing, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't consider myself a singer. I have done some performances recently. I did a performance in Chicago, but I don't
Yeah.
consider myself a professional singer. More of a professional actor now. I did it when I was a kid, but I'm blessed to be able to get back into the acting industry. And so right now with that, I'm doing background work. But when it comes to the music, it's really more DJing and hosting events. And, yeah, so I'm not recording nothing. And like, I might record some mixes about it. That's
You
about
you
it.
yeah, you are a body artist. You are you're a vibration. You got a lot going on. How beautiful.
I love movement. Like the moment I hear music, and I'm a server at Outback, so we
Yeah.
play the music in our restaurants, and it's like hard for me not to be dancing around the restaurant.
I bet you
And
get a lot of
they
your personality.
they allow me to be me though, so I
Yes,
end up dancing
exactly.
anyway. And
Yeah,
it's good times and good vibes, and you know what I
yeah,
mean. And I'm
yeah.
here for it.
That's right. That's right.
I'm
Wow,
here for it.
Warren. We have learned so much today. So much today. Is there anything that you want us to take away with? Anything you think you want us to know about the campaign or anyone? No pressure.
Um, I am at a place in my life where I'm all about live, laugh, love. Um, I had to look that up too. It came from a really old poem, like a 1940s poem, I believe.
Yeah.
And they was talking in the poem, I can't remember verbatim, but it was talking about a successful person is a person who lives the moment, laughs laughs at whenever they can, at every chance they can, and
Yeah.
love beyond measures.
Wow.
I do remember those words particularly, and so I started that as that's my daily motivation. Like I just want to walk out the doors, and if I can share anything with anybody, it's life, live life, laugh and be happy
Yes.
and love God, yourself, and others.
Yes. 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 Yes.
That's,
Yes.
that's it.
Wow.
And
Well,
the world will be a better place, I guarantee you.
yeah. And people will be all, tight.
No, no, and live. Like we gotta learn to live. Like learn
Yeah,
to just enjoy life. There's so many negative things that's going around us, but somehow there's still a way for you to channel positive energy and exude that everywhere you go.
yeah,
And allow that energy to be your shining light, your gleam that as a diamond, like just being, you know what I mean? And sometimes that could be contagious, and other people would change their attitude and mood simply because they want to match. They see how well you smile, so they want to smile too, you
exactly,
know. And
exactly.
sometimes it rubs off, and then of course, laughter is the best medicine for the soul.
Yes, it is. Yes,
That's
it is.
medicine for the soul, and I love to laugh. I love to have fun. You know, I love to smile. So, and then of course, love almost anything. It's just the greatest gift of all.
Yes, yes. Well, Warren, I want to just say thank you so much for your
Oh, thank
time,
you.
your transparency, your energy. Thank you. It was a pleasure first meeting you at training.
Yes, it was such a pleasure meeting all of you all. I had
He's
a
gonna be my
blast.
so if I'm gonna put Warren's information in the description if you need MCing or DJing duties. Just don't be afraid, just reach out to him. And this
Yes.
yes, yes, this is Miss B, the goddess of empathy. The name is for you, the title is for me. You can just call me Miss B. Warren, when I hang up, I'm gonna come right back at you, okay? I keep
I
forgetting to say
got you.
that. So when I hang up, just come right back. I'm gonna send you another invite. So this is Miss
Okay.
B, the goddess of empathy. The name's for you. The title is for me. We are 2024 models for the HIV Stops With Me campaign. And we will be coming to you soon.
Eh,
If you have any questions regarding HIV education, please go to HIVStopsWithMe.org.
work.
That's right. All right,
Eh,
Warren.
Mwah!
God bless you, everybody.